What's going on? This is D100 TV back with another live, real conversation with real people. My dog's going crazy in the background. I want to go straight into it as we dealing with that. I want to go straight into it and do kind of introduce you myself. Usually I allow my guests to introduce themselves, but I want to introduce you. I think the significance in this conversation today is when we first met, I was still locked up. For anybody that's been following the content, and at the time you were a lieutenant there at one of the facilities I passed through. You were on security side, but I think the first few months I came home, I forgot if I had reached. I don't know how we had spoke or sent a message or something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You were always, even while I was locked up, you were always somebody that you were for the people. What I'm gonna say, for what was right. I'm gonna say it the way I saw it. But today we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about just your perspective of things versus maybe mine. How we were able to meet, in the middle certain times, and really get into that. But real quick, man, I'm gonna go ahead and let you introduce yourself, for anybody that may not know of you, man, because you do a lot of work out there in the community.
I appreciate that too, my brother. Appreciate that, man. A lot of motivation came from you and a couple of others there, man. So y'all definitely played a big part in me being the person I am today. That's honest. That's real truth right there. You know what I'm saying? But my name, Genoa Everett. I did altogether 14 years law enforcement, 11 in the correctional facilities in Virginia, 3 with the Portsmouth Sheriff's Office. I was a lieutenant there as well. Both jobs I focused on reentry and cognitive community exercises and dialogue. I was a program specialist at the Sheriff's Office where I taught the reentry classes over there as well and helped with a lot of other things. But I resigned from there April 2021. Now I'm a violence interrupter for the city of Portsmouth, along with 2 gentlemen that used to be incarcerated at St. Brad's Correctional Center. Now we all work together now for the city of Portsmouth. First time ever having violence interrupters in the community, where we provide resources for victims and families of victims, things of that nature, whether it be from mental health on down to, health care, or providing places to stay, food, other resources with housing, and also making sure everyone's doing their job and making sure the people are receiving the service they're supposed to receive without asking for them. And I'm an activist in the community. I coach high school football. I'm a civic league member. I'm the PTA president at local middle school. So, I just try to stay busy. Have 6 children that I'm raising still, even the ones that's gone, still raising them. And I'm a family man. So pretty much sums it up. I have a foundation, Rise Up Foundation, LLC, working on finalizing the paperwork to make it an official 501c3 right now as a business. And got a couple other businesses working on as well. So just staying busy, man. Trying to stay motivated.
Yeah, many hats. That's leadership 101 though. I think the nature of a leader's heart is they go where they call, and you end up wearing a lot of different hats, because when you serve the people, that's just it. The mission, you don't really get to call it. It just, you kind of end up being in certain places, man. So salute to you for what you're doing out there, because we definitely need brothers, we need sisters, we need the youngins, we need everybody to get active. He spoke on PTA, he spoke all these different things that he's doing, volunteering in the community, working with the city. Hey, yeah, I could do it too. We all could do it. I want to go straight into it because, a lot of people know you based on those hats right there. They know you now. You spoke on working, with the sheriff's department, working correction, all these different hats and titles that you had, and lieutenants at that. You know what I'm saying? You work your way, up the ranks. Um, was there ever a time where life was different? You know what I'm saying? Where you weren't necessarily on that path, or
Oh
you know,
yeah, yeah, it was. I was arrested before. I was out there in them streets a little bit. One of the reasons why I never made it to the police department because you know I wasn't gonna pass certain tests. Let's put it that way. But I've had my times where I fell short. Um, by me being an athlete at a young age kept me out of a lot of trouble. Certain guys wouldn't let me do certain things. But when you're young, you try to put yourself in situations you don't need to be in. It's all, sometimes you feel like you got a point to prove, or you see an opportunity to make easy money, or you just hanging with the wrong crowd, or just having fun. Well, our example was of fun was a lot of things that we didn't have no business doing. So, which actually helped me out uh, when I came into corrections. I would never wanted to do that. Um, but after I had my fifth child, I have six altogether. I was looking at those benefits, and I had no idea what it was about. I just had a friend of mine that was already doing it, and he was one of the guys I knew from the street. So he taught me into it, and I went there, and it ended up being beneficial. For one thing, they needed officers there, and another thing, it was just to me it was easy because I just lived
yeah,
by the same rules that I try to live by the same rules that I did on the street. Certain things we couldn't live by because of course, you want to keep your job, but I just try to treat people how I want to be treated. I try to respect people. I wasn't afraid to communicate with people, so it made my job a lot easier. Plus, literally knew just about half the people in there, or we either had something in common or somebody in common.
yeah. I think from my perspective, coming from somebody that was locked up at the time, and again, this is just me narrating the point. That was a strong suit. It was good because you had influence. You was able to, what I'm saying, speak to the guys. Man, I want to think. I can't recall. There was a situation one time. I think it was in 20 building, and I was an elder over there, and something had happened, and the par was getting ready. I don't want to use the word ride, but they
Mm-hmm.
was in um, and y'all and a couple of brothers came in, and I was able to walk to the front. You came, and we had a conversation. I talked just because we had built the rapport. It was different there, and what I'm talking about is St. Bride's Correctional Center. It was
Mm-hmm.
different because security never really took the time to understand or really get to know the guys. And you already, like you said, you knew half the compound because it was right there in your backyard. On the other hand of things, I think that some of the officers, some of the staff, I feel like they were threatened by that. You know what I'm saying? Because
Oh, yeah. I ran into a lot of that. Yeah.
yeah, they didn't have that. They were alienated. They couldn't connect, and they became frustrated. And those were always the officers I seen as being frustrated,
Mm-hmm.
writing a lot of charges. You know
taking
what I'm saying?
taking frustrations out on offenders in there. And if you got to write a lot, man, that means you're not doing enough. You're not communicating right. You're not doing your job if you got to write a lot of charge.
Yeah,
That's for real. And I was told that by a warden. She was like, "Hey, your officers they writing up too many people. That means they're not doing their job. They're not on the floor. They're not communicating. They're not getting to know their people." So that was some people think they're doing their job because they're doing that, but that's far from the truth. You got to learn how to cope in there and roll with the situations in there. And it's not hard to do because most things you can finish with a conversation. Like me, you and a few other guys made my job easy because the respect y'all had in there. I just had to talk to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Uh,
yeah,
that situation you're talking about, I believe I remember it was also a situation in another building across the yard when we went on lockdown for about 2 weeks. Remember,
yeah,
they had to send me in there. They sent the warden and everybody in there, but they couldn't. It wouldn't work, so I had to go in there. They
yeah.
sent me in there, man, and everything worked out. Myself and
40 B
that's
bars up here talking about that.
Yeah, we had me and Miss Nog, she came in and she provided for me an avenue for me to be myself, and because she had a good understanding of how everything went too. So as long as I had at least one or two people in my corner, I was okay because I had the right ones. I had a few other people there that had my back as well and trusted me to do certain things, and usually it worked. Not all the time, but usually it worked. But I know you remember that 2 week lockdown.
The piece of fence was missing.
Yeah, 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 and it was about to go get crazy in there because everything stopped for 2 weeks. So you know how that go.
Yeah, that whole situation was that, and it was crazy because me, I'm coming from a high level. I worked my way down from level 4. I hit a level 4 twice on the bed. A
Mm.
lot of them guys never been past the 2 and didn't really understand lockdown and start. They couldn't get to the phones, the key. They started
Mm.
panicking, and hey, it was. I remember the warden that was there at the time. I had already been on 2 other compounds with
Oh
on
yeah,
at
yeah. That's
Queensville.
why I ain't say his name. I know you know what I'm talking about, but yeah, I ain't say his name.
Yeah, I said. Oh, Tracy Ray, he came and visited me when he surprised. He said, "Oh, nice to see." I said, "Lord," but hey, I'm a firm believer. Certain people put in your life to teach you lessons,
Oh
either
yeah,
directly, man. So you know, even people you don't necessarily in the moment appreciate. Man, I'm gonna tell you, certain people reminded me I don't want to look back that way.
oh yeah. It was hard, man, because I got a lot of side comments. Well, really, I ain't really say a lot because I checked that myself.
Yeah,
I wasn't a pushover, so I was very confrontational as well. Something that I worked on since, but I've had a lot of resistance.
yeah,
Um, People trying to make me look a certain way because they didn't possess certain skills as far as patience and communication. It wasn't nothing special, and if God gave us all the ability to do that, but some people, man, for some people, it's just hard to do. You know, and that's where the problems come in. Any type of relationship, good or bad, any type of thing where you got to deal with other people, it has to be communication, and that's where a lot of the problems were in any situation, especially in corrections. So
yeah. And
it was tough.
you always came in with respect. You looked at everybody. I mean, I guess unless they gave you reason not, but you looked at everybody, as a man, dealt with them. You know what I'm saying? And that's really all you can ask for. And I was gonna say salute to Nar too, because just like you said, people like Nar, she's good. She was good at and still is, I believe, to this day, at giving people a voice.
Yeah,
Create in a positive way. When we met, I'll shine a little bit more light on the situation at St. Bride's. It was a level 2 in Tidewater, what they call 7 cities in VA. And it was reentry, like reentry heavy. That was the whole, one of the missions there. It was a reentry site. And for the first time, they allowed a couple of the guys that were incarcerated to have a voice and work with staff in order to create new, I guess I'm gonna say, different layers to reentry, because they, that we still had to operate within their rules, but we were able to get a lot done because for the first time both sides were communicating.
yeah.
Was it always perfect? No. Was
Mm.
it everybody always in agreement? No, because we're all human.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but it worked, and salute the salute the others. Man,
Terry,
just
major. Well, he's assistant warden now, but I ain't gonna lie to you. Terry, I started off with him at another
yeah,
facility, but he always had my back as well.
yeah,
Um, Especially when he first got there at St. Bride's. I got there before him when I had the Commonwealth attorney come,
yeah,
the U.S. attorney with her.
yeah.
That was the first time that ever happened, and she asked me like, they wouldn't want a Commonwealth attorney to come in there. I say, look, you never know, but these guys need information, they need help, they need resources, and on top of that, it's something different. And somewhere we got to break the ice. Also the Man Foundation came as well.
Yeah.
But man, you will be surprised at the resistance.
Yeah.
It was a lot of resistance with that because Of course, you got a few hundred guys in one room with some high level officials in there. On top of that, the perception was, okay, these guys don't know how to act. So that was like, if something happens, then what? So I had to deal with all that. But me having the relationship I had with a lot of y'all, I put really a lot of that on y'all's shoulders.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I believe y'all did more heavy lifting than I did. Even though I would have took a lot of responsibility for it, but y'all pretty much set that up and carried that out.
Yeah, but
God for that, but that worked out beautifully, and that got a lot of people's careers and visions going on the outside as well. Because all those people, man, they received a lot of accolades, and they grew stronger in their journeys as far as being a voice in their communities, especially talking about reentry and recidivism and things of that nature. So everyone that came there that day, they pretty much took off, man, and kept marching with that on the outside.
Yeah.
So
It was I don't want to say college. I don't know what it was. It was university. That's what it was, because it was experiment. It was university. I honestly don't know if it's still going on. I talked to a lot of brothers, but they in different spots, different locations. But I heard it's not like it was. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been there. When
Yeah.
I left, I didn't just voluntarily. I ain't just put in for application to leave, man. I actually got a phone call from the actual sheriff and undersheriff asking me to come there, and they hear this net about me, asked me to come there. So it wasn't like I was trying to get out of there. But I looked at it when I did leave the prison, it was an opportunity to do something in my own community and try to be proactive and reach the youth in the community, catch them before they make it to the prison. But
Let me ask you this real quick. I ain't mean to cut you off, but I want to ask this why it's on my mind, because you spoke about it. Early in your life, you went from living a certain way, you had got arrested. Now, turn it all the way around, march in a completely different direction. You get a call to, potentially come work for the sheriff's department. Like, what was the mindset when was that confirmation, or you really didn't need? You already knew you was headed. Was it unexpected? Was it?
to be honest with you, man, it was only for an assault, and it wasn't nothing. Man, I just had to be on good behavior for a certain amount of time, and that was it'll be washed away or whatever. So it wasn't nothing crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of things I should have been caught for, thank God, But the confirmation was I was a bouncer. I bounced off and on. I did little nightclub stuff, and so I was just used to being a certain way.
Yeah.
How the bouncing thing goes. So it just seemed like something that I could do. Even though I didn't know too much about it. When I made it into the correctional facility, it was completely different than what I thought. And I realized that I wasn't in control of nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I learned real quick that what's going to get me through this is respect.
Yeah.
I can't expect nobody to love me in there, or to have my back or to risk their life for me. I said the only thing I can make it through here is respect. And so that's why I started to focus on it. Respect is earned, not given. So I want to put that energy out there so it can come back to me. But I always been a protector. I always been a type to try to look out for someone else, probably more than I look out for myself. So I always played the background a lot, because by nature I just like to be there for others, man. A lot of us growing up, didn't have both parents in our lives and things like that. That may have had something to do with it. The family situation growing up. I just felt like, I always wanted to be the person that I didn't have, or to put it this way, I wanted to be that person that I didn't have. And I also wanted to be like people that I came up with, as far as, my mother, she took care of the whole fam. She took care of cousins, uncles, sisters, grandparents, all that. She just was like, that's just her style. And that's probably where I got a lot of that from. My uncles raised me. I wanted to be like them.
Yeah.
Certain coaches, my high school coach, man, pretty much helped me a lot and on top of the other coaches as well, but my coaches played a big roles in my life. So, I just felt like I always had to carry myself a certain way, respectfully, so I can, I can be able to walk with that respect. I wasn't all, I did a lot of things, I'm not proud of. We all go through that. Um, but I feel like every day I wake up is a chance to get better. You know,
Yeah. For sure.
every day I'm blessed with is a chance for me to. I only have to correct things unless it's something that's going on currently in my life, but just to be a better person and to live that true example of who I want to be and what I expect from others.
Facts. Let me ask you this. You spoke on this. Obviously, we know you involved in the community, coaching, PTA, etc. Is it hard to connect nowadays? Is it hard? Was it hard to connect? You know what I'm saying? Anytime does it seem harder to connect with the youth in
Oh,
2020?
oh
Maybe
yeah.
5 years ago.
It's very hard to be actual and factual with you. But let me backtrack though and say the Department of Correction was on to something big years ago. We should have been implementing this in the streets, what we were doing in the correctional facilities.
Mm.
Um, Public safety in the inner cities are light years behind corrections.
and
You understand what I'm saying?
it
And
don't make
I'm thankful because it wasn't a choice. It wasn't an option for us to learn the cognitive community, the reentry, and all that dialogue, communication. I got certified and all that. And that's why guys coming home right now having so much success, being credible messengers,
mm,
bringing that they learned at home because they just now picking up on this stuff in the streets. And a lot of them aren't taking it serious, but they just don't know. The ones with degrees and all these big time titles, and they don't know nothing about this, man.
no.
I'm gonna keep it real with you.
Yeah.
They just it's like, hey, first of all, you got to care about it. First of all, but a lot of those people don't respect it enough to care about it, let alone teach it. So
Yeah.
it's like, here, do this, sign that, do a survey, and we can collect some data to show the people that it's working, so we can keep getting some grant money.
You know, you know,
No substance.
you know what it felt like when certain people came in there and tried to teach certain things. Um, it felt literally like somebody that didn't know French came to France and was trying to teach that language.
Some people had it and some people didn't.
Yeah.
People had it, some people didn't, and it ain't for everybody.
No.
Because you're gonna get some clapback. Cats gonna question you, they're gonna doubt you, they're gonna see how much you know, which gonna test how much you care. And you got the ones that don't have the patience for it or the heart for it, they gonna drop out every time. I'm talking about as far as staff goes, the
Yeah.
facilitators. Um, you got to be able to roll with resistance. That's one of the steps in dialogue. Sometimes you got to roll with the resistance. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people can't do that. But
It's part
the
of the
sad
problem.
part is you have people getting grants and all types of money to fund their programs, and they not really putting their heart into it, or they don't really know enough to understand whether is this person faking it to make it, or they just
Yeah.
telling me what I want to hear. Are they really getting something out of it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, you gotta be able to tell all that.
There's no connection.
Yeah, but with the kids though, I coach basketball, baseball, football all year round. I've been doing it for about 11, 12, 13 years now. And I do it for free for the rest of my life. You know, I was doing it before the cameras and all that, before the, titles, because most of that time I was coaching my own children. But the thing is, on the mental health aspect, kids need help. It's bad out here. I'm talking about literally, man, no matter how good something going, one little thing can set their minds back light years, you know?
Yeah.
And I've seen that from from the athletic standpoint, the frustration is ready to just quit everything. I don't care. They just went out and threw for 500 yards. If they
Yeah.
get into it with a teammate or the coach say something they don't like, they ready to quit. You know, basketball, for any type of sport. On top of that, the ones that are trying, if we pull them out of their environment, we talk to them, we reach them. Guess what? When they go home, they got to go back to that same environment. So you got to get back in that mode of thinking to survive, because your enemies or your ops may live right down the next court
Yep.
or down around the next corner. So we not with them that long. We're not staying there with them. We're not bringing them to our house. So people got to understand they got to survive in their own environment as well.
Yeah.
Mama might not be there, daddy might not be there, or mom and daddy may not communicate well. They probably talking at them instead of to them. That's why when I have my mentor programs, I have that as well. I have the mothers or the parents, I have them role play, and we go over certain dialogue techniques.
That's
And then
good.
the parents realize, man, I was really messing up,
Yeah.
because it's a way to talk. We're talking about not just yes or no, make the child talk, ask them open-ended questions, give them affirmations, be reflective, let them know you understand what they're saying or you hear what they're saying, and summarize what they're saying. The kids don't feel like parents listening, but they don't feel like nobody listening half the time. So we gotta let them know we listening. We gotta check ourselves first before anybody else, and realize these kids watching. When you chasing that girl, you chasing that guy, but as soon as the kids say or do something, you fussing them out like you don't even know them.
Yeah.
A lot of us do that. I'm guilty of that. You know,
Yeah.
so as a parent, I had to learn that by watching my kids. Times where I wasn't coaching them, when they made it to a higher level, high school, and I had to learn. Sometimes it's best to let somebody else tell that child the same thing you told them 100 times, because they may not receive it the same way, because my delivery wasn't what they wanted. They couldn't work with that because of
Yeah.
other feelings or other things that happened in the past. So I had to pretty much allow other coaches to help raise my children in in certain ways. And I'm right now, I'm fine with that. I look at it as a blessing, because on the mental
Real
health
though.
side of it, they don't really have a lot of options, man. Back in the day, we had to live with because I said so or because I'm grown. That's all.
Yeah. You know what's crazy, and to back up your point with the mental health and the youth, I went on this quest in 2023, this whole health kick thing. Um, I'm physically, but I'm like, yo, I'm gonna do the mental assessment thing. Because I'm former military, been incarcerated, grew up in Chicago, learning about trauma. So I go, and then we had a tragedy in the family with my younger brother, and so I'm like, yo, I said I want to get this thing checked out. I'm married, we want to have kids, I want to make sure everything. I want to know my history, my health. Do the mental assessment, and I have I'm transparent. I was diagnosed with bipolar type
Mhm.
1. Growing up in the hood, getting into fights, or having outbursts, like you said, because I was one of those kids too, playing sports. But I had, my pops weren't around, so
Mhm.
man, I would get frustrated the moment. I weren't even mad at the sport or the game or the coach, but that was
Yeah.
the time or the moment. And
Mhm.
one of the things the therapist said to me to bring the point together, she says, "Hey," she said, "more than likely you've had this since childhood, and had it been," she said, and I'm not saying this is 100% but I'm just saying, had it been diagnosed and
Mhm.
treated, you might not have ever went to prison.
Exactly. That's
So
a good
yeah,
point.
mental health, man.
But check this out.
Mhm.
Just think of what it come down to. It mostly come down to communication, no matter what anybody did. Because guess what? When you were younger, you probably never talked about those problems. And
Nah,
nobody
not
probably never asked you what's wrong with you. Or if they asked you, you probably said, I'm good, but they never stayed on you. Like, hey, talk to me for real. You know what I'm saying?
a lot of us,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna say that too, but a lot of us, I don't know how old you. I'm 39.
Yeah, I'm
I
42.
You said how old?
42.
42. So we around the same age. my mother was, I guess, considered an older parent. My mother's 74 now.
Okay.
Um, I came into the picture, but that generation growing up, I'm just gonna speak about what I've experienced in my family. Growing up in our household, nobody talked about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything got swept under the rug. That's why you got generational curses. Find out such and such is this, and these people don't talk in the family. Like, and that's what we fighting for nowadays. With me and mine, we just like, yo, we gonna put it out there. We gonna address it because that's how you strengthen, man. You
Yeah.
gotta have conversation. You gotta let people know what's going on because 9 times 10 they might be going through it too.
Yeah. Even if you're not being specific, it still needs to be known that, okay, I have certain issues, and just some type of introduction to the problem, or just admitting that I do have this problem, and just, seeking some type of help, whether it be getting on the phone yourself and looking up problems with such and such, just learn about certain things, or speaking to a stranger. I tell sometimes, hey man, sometimes you gotta talk to somebody that's not gonna pass judgment. I don't have conversations with strangers that made me feel like I just jumped out of a hot bath, man. I was so relaxed and relieved. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
and
yeah,
sometimes we feel like we can't tell certain people that we know because they're gonna pass judgment, or they might get mad or angry, or they might feel some type of way. And then it's gonna be another level of uncomfortness. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
even if you don't actually go to the source, sometimes it's good to let it out,
yeah,
or just talk about it, or just do some research, man. And see, right now, it's like a gift and a curse. We have technology now, like this right here, cell phones.
hmm,
We just not using the technology right, because
yeah.
we had beepers at the most, but we won't text and all that stuff on the beeper. We
Right.
was playing outside and chilling. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? If we do say something, somebody else gonna tell your family such and such talking grown, or they said this and that, and you gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you say, it's like a curse, man. Um, and we got to fight our way out of that, and we got to realize these kids have more access to
Man,
information than we do, and a lot of times it may be the wrong access. So they go on social media and they talk about a rapper killing himself because he's and this and that. You got some other kids that feel like, oh, I'm gonna do that too.
yeah, that's crazy.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? And
yeah,
before they even tell anybody they got a problem, I done heard so many kids talk about suicide, man, in the past 2 years. It's ridiculous.
yeah.
You know,
It's too much pressure. I feel like because everything's on, what you wearing, what you got
you
going
can't even
on.
lose a fight, man. 2,000 people might view you getting your butt whipped by the time you get home from school. So now you got to come at them with something hard, something crazy. I'm not gonna lose this fight. I'm just gonna go and bust. You know what I'm saying?
It's different, man.
Everything
Different.
on social media is a lot of pressure. Like you say, it's a lot of pressure, man. And I walk through the schools, I volunteer. I'll sit in the school about 4 hours, man, helping with the movement and lunch and everything. And the stuff you see, a lot of kids with their hoods covering their face. Some people look at that, oh, they must be in the street. No, I look at it as they got some type of discomfort being themselves.
Yeah,
They hiding something wrong. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So people don't. I've learned a lot by working in the prisons and jails and bouncing and all that. Just with life, period, man. Well, I can see things differently. People think we crazy. He institutionalized this or whatever, or he state struck, whatever. But I've got to deal with so many different attitudes and personalities. That when I do see stuff like that, I'm not looking like, oh, something wrong with them. I'm looking at, man, maybe they need some help,
yeah.
because like the prison, you know how it is, man. When a dude lose a bet and all of a sudden he giving up his trade, but he beating the deuce. Okay, so why you giving up your trade and then beating the deuce? Well, guess what? He owes some money. So when we get him in the office, man, why are you stealing this and that? And you got people sending you money, oh man, because I lost a bet. They ain't gonna say that in the yard. They might buck on the yard, but you get them in the office or the holding cell, they
You
might be down crying. I'm getting extorted. I lost a bet, or dudes beating me up, taking my, you know what I'm saying?
you know what's crazy? I would hear that as the inmate advisor, as the
Mhm.
RG, or as the elder or whatever.
Yes, sir.
And
I don't see guys break down crying, man.
they be, and no, I don't mean no harm, disrespect, but we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk. Like them guys that was going hard and pumping their chests and catching them charges. The minute the charge gets served, hey, bro, we beat this man. I don't want to lose my visit. And my thought, and I've even said it a couple times. I said that, bro, why you ain't think about all this before?
Yeah,
You know.
true,
But
man.
the thing, man, I want the mental health thing in prison. I just want to go back on the prison aspect.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen guys lose their minds in there.
Yeah,
Like I've seen guys stand up, decent, good at communicating, be playing ball, working out, and then one day there's like a mental decline.
yeah.
And I know a guy that he barely speaks now. When we was on the compound with him, we had to make sure he had his clothes up around him, and it was like watching one of your heroes die.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best way and who knows what made him snap, because he wasn't doing drugs and nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? It was just he had time,
Yeah,
and mama had passed while he was, it was just these different things. And I had a buddy of mine did like he walked down the majority of his time and then went into the hole and took his own life. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
just recently, you know what I'm saying, and rest in peace to anybody, man. The family's affected. Uh, a guy a lot of us know throughout the system, his son with 2 years left in the system took his own life. Like mental health is real.
Yeah.
And what you're seeing behind bars is a reflection of what you're seeing out here. It's just behind bars is the petri dish.
Yeah,
It's
I tell these young boys, man, I'm like, yo, man, you don't them guys that you look up to don't tell you what's really happening, man, behind that concrete and steel.
now,
Man. They not gonna tell you that they getting pursued, or they gotta be a mule and suitcase this take across the yard, or they got a guy hitting on them in the shower, or they got family not sending them nothing. They want to make like they got it going on, but they ain't getting no love from the outside. They don't want to say all that. It's easy to pose for a picture and look like you living it up. But after that, but these people on the street don't know any better because they never. It's a completely different world, and none of these shows on TV really show you how prison is.
no,
You know what I'm saying? So for these, especially the younger guys, even though I used to look up the guys that got off, I'm thinking they're the toughest cats in the world. You make it home from prison, but working in there and seeing the actual problems and things that go on, man, it's another world.
It's politics. It's food chains.
Dog eat dog, man.
Yeah. You gonna stand up or you gonna get knocked down for real. Yeah. Like I hate this. And what's crazy? I wish there was a way some of these youngins could really see.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know how I don't know. They can't put hidden cameras. I mean, they can do what they want, but like see what's going on. Like I think one of the biggest things that maybe could have helped me growing up. I wasn't necessarily somebody that got in trouble, but because I went to school, got good grades, played sports, but I grew up in Chicago. So I was working 2 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out there riding bikes. I'm watching. I'm paying attention. If I had just been exposed to prison for real, some real conversation, or really was told what's going on, ain't no way I was gonna go that way. But ain't nobody.
And I think probably all that bad stuff that can happen in prison, one of the worst things, I ain't gonna say the worst thing, but one of the worst things to me were the ones that didn't have support from the outside.
That's the worst. It's like they was zombies.
Yeah, man. I mean, the things guys will do for some canteen, man. You know what I'm saying? Or it's like, man. But when you either burn those bridges or you never had a support system, I seemed like it was harder for those guys in there. One of the hardest things anyway. I ain't say the hardest, because I've seen some guys go through some stuff in there. But that seemed like that was the worst, especially when you got to tell them, your daughter died or your son died, and they feel like they won't there, or they never had a chance to be a good parent, or their family wasn't taking care of them right, or you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's those regrets, and those I used to hate having to tell people that they lost somebody out there, but the lack of support to me, man, was probably one of the worst things a guy can go through, or a female or male can go through while incarcerated.
Yeah,
You know,
man. You
yeah.
don't sources at that point. You got your prison job, and if you got hustle, you gonna find a way. But a lot of guys, like you said, they sell their soul. You
Oh
know
yeah,
that,
trust
that
me. I can't tell you everything on camera, but I know what time it is.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and then I one of the stories I told, I remember a guy OG from back home, from my city back home in the system, stabbed a man over a bag of potato chips. You know, the potato chips probably was what 30 some cent, whatever it was, but it was principle.
Yeah,
Like it's prison is it is what it is, man. Prison, you don't know what it's gonna be day to day because anything could cause a chain reaction.
oh yeah, and we outnumbered in there, so
Yeah,
we were always checking for the vibe and the flow to make sure, like, man, I hope this ain't gonna set nothing off.
yeah.
And
Especially
so,
where we were at, there was a lot of city tension.
mhm.
It was just it was a lot of politics. One of the reasons I was all right is because I weren't from none of them spots, none of them cities. I was good, but man, the tension on the yard for it to be a level 2, it was
Man,
different.
it was less like I worked at Sussex too, man. I don't work Death Row, all that in Sussex. Pop said. So it was just about the same for real.
Yeah,
One thing about Sussex, man, was guys was ready to show you who they were in there for real. They a lot
yeah,
of them were doing time still. But I always respected guys like you could be yourself, man. See, I think that's one of the hardest things to be in a environment like that is to be yourself. So everyone that I feel like was being their self, I had mad respect for them because it's hard to be like that around so many people. You talking about 1,900 some people. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So a lot of people was putting on that front, man. Um, the guys that were, just stuck to their guns and were just okay with being themselves. I have mad respect for, so that environment can change. It changed me a lot.
yeah.
It changed me a lot because my mission was to make it home every day. And I felt like, hey man, if I let you get away with certain stuff, it's gonna make my job harder. If I let you punk me, it's gonna make my job harder. And I couldn't have that. So you know how I was. I mean, hey, I ain't
Right.
you can take a lot. I was lenient, but
Yeah,
if you challenge you, man, I went by
yeah.
almost the same rules y'all did in there. Because guess what? If I lose, I might as well quit. Or if I let you pump me, I might as well quit. I might as well hang it up. So
I'm
I had to be somebody that I really wasn't back in the day, because I had to answer the call, man. And, a lot of things, man, people respect you too if you handle your business. So, I figure once in a while, man, it was gonna come. I just waiting on it. But I just try to be consistent. You know what I'm saying? I want the baddest guy by far. But I say I gotta be consistent. I gotta be firm, fair, and consistent, man. I gotta treat everybody the same. Of course, you're not gonna treat everybody the same, but I had to come as close as I could.
yeah, yeah,
Some guys earned more respect to me than others. Some guys, to me, I could trust more with others. I can trust dealing with you in certain situations or speaking to you in certain situations than I could trust a lot of other people. So I didn't, of course, you would be one of the ones that I relied on as far as, hey, man, I'm about to shut this rat down. And maybe you can talk to him. Because when I come back and jump aim straight, I'm just going to take the wreck or whatever I'm going to do or stop school,
yeah,
whatever. And a lot of times, man, I had to realize that I ain't a big dog for real. I had to go to another big dog that can handle it. And that's part of the why I say it's strength and diversity.
yeah,
Because things I couldn't handle, I can rely on you and guys like Tony Harris, Freddie and all them, that can make some things happen or that had influence that can get, okay, y'all chill out, man. Man got to do his job. People got to do this, and that. Hey, man, y'all know what time it is. Y'all been doing this long enough. Hey, just chill out. And sure enough, man, every time I relied on y'all took care of me. So,
man.
you know.
You know, I think like at one point, me and Freddie and a couple of us, we figured out that we had a responsibility
Oh yeah.
because we had a voice. And anybody watching, when you know that you got the opportunity, we got the blessing to have a voice, because you can't really take that out. It's given to you when people decide they want to listen. Like, it's a responsibility, and that's how we carried it. We was always the same. We've been through. We've been through different ones. I had touched Sussex twice. I remember on Sussex, you talking about almost carrying it the same way. I was telling one guy on Sussex, some of them officers, they used to take the radio off, call you down the laundry, and
Oh,
figure it out. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah, I remember those days.
Yeah,
You gonna speak
yeah,
on? Yes, I
yeah.
remember those days.
Hey, man, man, we could talk, but it's like people got to understand this when it comes to prison. I guess what I'm getting to in the long and short form is you do got this barbaric side of prison.
Oh yeah,
You
it's,
got the guys that's plotting and thieving and stealing and stabbing, and you do have that. Does it happen? Does somebody get stabbed every single? No, it's not like the movies. But is there tension just about every day? Yeah. Is there politics? Yeah. There's a lot of negatives with prison, but there's some good stuff too. Every now and then you got staff, you got people that are in position, that got a voice, that got influence, that actually care, that's sincere when it comes to rehabilitation. Because one of the questions that got posed by a young lady that was on the podcast recently, she said, "What's the point of incarceration when you lock up somebody that's 16 years old?" Um, because she was speaking about a youngin. He was 16 years old. Him and his buddy had robbed a pizza man, and his buddy unfortunately had took the life of the
oh
pizza.
yeah.
And they gave both of them life. And she was posing the question, at least for the driver in this case, the co-defendant, what's the goal? Is it to rehabilitate or to make sure the world's safer by keeping them inside? And how can you prove that point, that second point, if that's the goal?
See, once again, you got to pick the right staff, man, and it's hard to do because uh, a lot of people from different environments and backgrounds will be exhausted by the amount of activity that goes on in a correctional facility. It's a lot going on, you know that,
Yeah,
uh, and everybody gonna try you to see where they can get with you, what they can get out you, or just to
yeah,
see how sharp you are. Everything is like a test. You know what I'm saying?
every single time.
Always something going on behind you, beside you. Sometimes you think a guy, oh, he's a nice guy. He always talk to me. Then you find out he just talked to me, so I won't pay attention to his homeboy
Yeah,
moving that junk across the yard. You know what I mean? So it's like sometimes just too much activity for people, man. And we live and we learn. We're not always the sharpest, and we're never gonna be the sharpest. There's always be somebody sharper than you. So you got to understand that you can only do what you can do. But if you're doing it, you got to be for real because people can see that. They can see whether you're going through the motions or you just faking it to make it. You know what I'm saying?
no
So,
question.
so you got these young guys that hit the facility. Usually, the younger they are, the more people try to work with them. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, they have to feel like you sincere and that you really trying. If they don't feel that from you, they don't feel comfortable with you. That's the first problem right there. Of
Hmm.
course, it ain't gonna happen overnight, but they gotta know that you're not gonna give up on them, that you sincere, and then they go by how they see you acting. If
Yeah,
you're not acting the part, you're not walking that walk and just talking it, you may look good at first, but people gonna find out, man. Then your credibility is done.
yeah,
And man, you talked about this before. You got a lot of people, man, that's they talking it, but they ain't walking it, and for some reason they think people don't notice. But
and
it's
people,
always somebody watching, man, whether good or bad, people watching. They're just plotting. People plotting and waiting, man, for that opportune time. You know what I'm saying? Or you might set yourself up
and that
thinking, you know,
it comes up when you least expect it. At the
oh
worst,
yeah,
you're gonna feel like it's the worst moment when it comes up. But the point is, it never had to come up at all because all
no,
you was just
keep your
be
mouth quiet.
integrity,
Yeah, integrity, yeah. And it's just sometimes, man, it's best to shut up. You
man.
talk more than you listen, that's a problem.
Yeah,
You should never talk more than you listen. You know what I'm saying? Even if you got a talk show. one of the most important things about communication is listening, man.
Moderating, listening.
Exactly. Because guess what? What frustrates people the most? You in a relationship, you know, the kid. When you fight somebody that ain't listening,
Yeah.
that's one of the most frustrating things in the world.
Nobody listening to nobody then.
You understand what I'm saying? So I think the sooner we realize that, the better, man. We need to start listening to people, especially these kids, and especially these people that are in need, because we wait on them to give us the answer anyway. What you do when you go to a psychologist, right? They're gonna ask you 1,000 questions, different ways, until you tell them what's wrong with you, and then they say, "Oh, that's what this called." But really, they waiting on you to give them the answer.
That's it.
That's it. They can't tell you what's wrong with you just by looking at you. They got to talk to you for. They gonna listen to what you say. Okay, now I can determine that either this or that this wrong with you, and this is what you need, because you told them everything you need. The answer lies in you. People don't realize that, or they underestimate themselves. But everybody is blessed with a God given tool to figure out what's wrong with them. We know, but
No.
if we don't communicate, we shut down. That's our problem. Or we got people in our life that don't care enough to pry and dig and not give up and be consistent. That's another problem, because we owe it to our family, we owe it to our youth to be persistent, even if they don't like it. You know what I'm saying? We got to stay on them until they
Yeah.
give in. You know what? All right, man, let's talk. Okay, this and that. This. Eventually, man, hopefully they will give in eventually. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You shouldn't be complaining about how the youngins running around, what's going on in the neighborhood and all that. You ain't even having
They ain't doing that.
you ain't
Yeah,
even attempted to have one conversation.
yeah, shaking their head. Oh, no, make no sense, them young boy. But what are you doing out there?
A lot of people scared of them youngins.
Oh yeah, I was scared of them. Let me tell you something, bro. I patrolled almost a year in the roughest neighborhoods in Portsmouth.
You
And during the pandemic, it was them young boys, 13, 14, 15. They were the ones out here doing the damage, man.
yeah,
Real to this day, for real. Them boys ruthless.
yeah,
You know, you got guys in school that got cases against other guys in school, going to the same school. You understand what I'm saying? You got kids waiting on bus stops to shoot at or kill students that go to the same school. They'll get off early and wait at the bus stop. That happened to a friend of mine. It's been a
that's
year now since that happened. You know what I'm saying? So, you
yeah,
know, what we do, we out here in these streets, we talk to these people, we deal with these people, man. We check up on these people, you know, and it's crazy out here because it's the youth now. It ain't guys our age too much no more. It's
yeah,
teenagers in high school, bro. Everybody wanting to be known to be a shooter now. It ain't about getting money no more. It's like, I want to know, I want you to be scared of me. I want you to know that I'm a shooter, you know.
yeah.
And these guys, they mean it, bro. I mean, I ain't no punk, but I'm gonna be keep it
Yeah,
real. It's crazy out here.
they don't know, but it's like they don't know the repercussions though, and they living like they got reset buttons.
Man, let me tell you something. It's obvious, right? It's a trap, man. Certain things we can't talk about on TV, rap videos, any type of music, movies, you know. We can talk about robbing each other, shooting your mama house up, drugging your drink. We can talk about spinning the block and doing this and that to you, but certain things we can't talk about. Why
Yeah,
you think they allow records like that, man?
yeah.
It's a trap, bro. It's a trap, man. You know what
Question.
I'm saying? Because there's a lot of money being made off of the legal system. You
Oh,
know, a lot of money being made off of that.
yeah.
You know,
Prison is man. Me and Freddie, there's a joke. I forgot who it said. They said me and Freddie. They said we should have been making what they said we should have been making 60 a year or something like that for what we was doing in there. I don't know
bro.
what.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie to you, because y'all had to lay there, y'all had to sleep there. I got a chance to go home. So I'm like, man, them cats. I
We
was
was
hoping. I'm just glad y'all was okay. Y'all ain't had to bust nobody upside the head. If you did, I'm glad I don't know about it. Because I'm like, man, you know, these dudes really sticking their necks out trying to do the right thing. And we gotta leave and go home.
yeah. It
I
was
know
crazy.
exactly what y'all went through. You know what I mean?
You know, honestly, I didn't go through much. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really go. I mean, you gonna go through what you go through in prison. There's always gonna be somebody. mad. You know what I'm saying? It's just gonna be a day. But I could say for the group of guys, the elders, what we talking about, the ones that was helping out, we used to protect. We would hold each other down.
Yeah,
You know, we kind of moved like a unit. If
yeah.
that, and a lot of us already had influence. People, you know
That's
what I'm
what I'm
saying?
saying. Let's just keep it real. We chose y'all. We knew won't nobody gonna mess with y'all any kind of way. You know what I'm saying? That was the reason why we chose y'all with the backgrounds y'all had, because we wanted people that when we left or y'all went back in that pod, we wanted to make sure we had the right people that people respected and that they wouldn't just try any kind of way. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah,
That was the
true.
purpose. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
and everything looked like we made the right decisions, because I ain't never heard nothing crazy. And I always tell y'all, if something wrong, let me know. I'll take care of it. You know what I mean? Because y'all holding us down, so
yeah,
they knew not to mess with y'all because of that too. But same time, we knew y'all had that type of respect in there.
yeah. We just respected everybody, man, and we made it through. And I'm glad we got Tony Harris was here a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about how when Naro green lighted, we could get the parole board in there. And when that,
I remember that, man. I remember them cats crying in there and
yeah,
dudes going home, dudes got
I
released early, all that, man. That
when
thing
I
was
went
moving.
when I went to her with that, she looked at me like I was crazy. But again, salute to her because I don't even know if it was my idea.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Harris said I'm the one that came. I don't know how it went down, but I did go to her. And again, you know what I'm saying? We couldn't do what we was doing without y'all. You guys had the green light, you had the support. I know you guys had to convince at times certain people. So, you know, salute to y'all. Salute to anybody that's still working, behind the wall that actually care. And I'm gonna say this before we go, we bring it to a close. What's unfortunate is when it comes to the people that's really trying to help rehabilitate that's behind the wall, a lot of times for whatever reason they don't make it too long. They either get burnt out because they helping everybody, you know what I'm saying? They outman, or they come into a situation where it don't, whatever it is. Um, but man, we see y'all. I'm gonna say from somebody that was formerly incarcerated, I can think of different names like the Jacksons, the Gomez's. These are different institutions. Villarreal who taught me about policy. Different people along the way that took the time out to treat me like a human. You
Mm-hmm.
know. So salute to y'all, man. Anybody that might be watching.
Brother. Hey, right back at you too, though, man. Because look, y'all had a tough job in there, man. Y'all stood, y'all stood tall on that one, bro. For real. That was like, St. Bride's was a pilot site. They weren't doing that nowhere else. We
Yeah,
was training other people, man, how to do that after that,
yeah,
man. But we couldn't have made that happen without y'all.
man.
Shout out to Dale Redman, man. Get back to the block, and man, my man Bam, Reggie Gatlin, man. They are the other violence in the rebels with the city of Portsmouth. They were there too. So
Yeah.
another shout out to Monique Usenia, man. She do a lot and
Yeah.
correct. She gave me the Influencer of the Year award, man, last year. So
That's
mad love to her too, man. She do a lot out here for guys inside and out, man. She getting guys off of 100-year sentences, bro. You know,
hey, we was
so
about her. T Spills was up here, homegirl, at 4 o'clock. We was just talking. I got to get her up here because she a freedom fighter. Call her the modern
she
day
the
Harry.
truth, bro. She the truth, man. She the truth,
Yeah.
bro. For real. But
And
I
then
would
like,
love to get with you, man. I gotta get with you, bro.
yeah,
Got to
yeah.
get
Well,
with you, man.
hey, I come to VA every now and then. And actually, I'm supposed to be. We talked earlier, but after talking, we supposed to be up there through November, sometime in November. So
Oh yeah, let me know, man. Let me
yeah,
know.
um, definitely, cause we got to get together, man. Hey, look, before we go, is there anything else you want to shout out? Anything going on? Your football team, community,
Oh
PT?
man, I see Northern Greyhounds, man. Portsmouth, Virginia. It's the wrong side. Remember that, man. Everybody know who that is. We worldwide. Shout out to IC Northern football, IC Northern High School, my alma mater. Also, man, like I say, man, just out here, MK5 Ministries, they helped me a lot. and I help them as well, man. Nonprofit, we give out a lot of food in the communities, man. I'm talking about tons of food. Been doing it for the last 4 years now with them. Hope Ministries, man. They out here every day, just about in neighborhoods, man, different cities. But all us been involved together, man, doing good things out here. Um, we just trying to do our part, man. Hey, if everybody just do their part, we'll see a dramatic change. It'll be like unbelievable, So just do what you can. Don't do nothing, out of the ordinary. Just do what you can, man. We just do what we can. We'll be all right. And shout out to you, big dog. Congratulations on your channel and the business and everything, man. You doing big things out there, bro. For real.
Appreciate it, man. Just trying to grind, change the narrative. That's what
Yes,
this is.
sir.
You know what I'm saying? Change the narrative, wake some people up, and just show people a different perspective, man. I feel like anybody that's been locked up, anybody coming from that side, even if you haven't been locked up, if you survive, any type of struggle, circumstance, situation, and you here today, you got a responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Your life is a testament. People are watching. And also I want to say this: don't be scared of network. Me and Big Dog was talking earlier about network and the importance of that. We able to talk on the phone, have communication. Me even being formerly incarcerated, him still working on the other side of things. Hey, that's still somebody I call friend. You know what I'm saying? Somebody.
I can't say this before I forget. Get with your local authorities, man, or any type of public safety organization, because they are in need of people like you in your community, man. They are really searching for that now.
What you say?
They finally picked up on it.
You said the Civic League, right? That was one of the things.
I'm with the Civic League in my neighborhood, but they got one in every neighborhood. What I'm saying is they need credible messengers like yourself. They need that information that you got to implement in their new programs. Now they finally done caught on what we was doing 6 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is the time for you to offer your expertise, and it will benefit you. Let's just put it that way. Either way, it'll benefit you. So, and it'll benefit them because they need people like you to give them the game, because they really don't have it.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And they need real people like you, not somebody that just want to get a check or something like that. So they need authentic people to get in the game, because now they get it, that they need what we've been doing years ago.
Right.
So this is the time to do it, man. They picking up on that all across the nation. There's something that's really going on, man. So, and they'll make sure you got everything you need to get the job done. If you get what I'm saying.
Receive, man.
Good.
So
go and check on that, bro.
Yeah, definitely get Freddie Williams. Call Freddie Williams.
Oh yeah.
Because we got, like you said, man, it's definitely. But no, I hear you. You're right. And the time, it's something about this season, man. This year, a lot of changes occurred after 2020 was unfortunate. 2021, not too much better, but 2022, you starting to see a lot of people wake up, a lot of shifts, a lot of changes. So
y'all got a lot to offer, man. Y'all got a lot to offer, bro. Trust me. You need to put it out, man.
Man, on that note, Big Dog, salute to you. Appreciate you. Definitely, man, if we can have you back up here in the future, talk about some more things, possibly be on the panel. I want to do a panel for Tidewater, have somebody represent the city out of there. Something like that. But thank you, man, for being a part of this, being a voice, you know what I'm saying, a different perspective.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Take care to the world, man. Be safe, be blessed. If you're breathing, you blessed, man. Don't underestimate your value. If you're going through something, talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Don't think that you can't push through, because the good news is you already made it through 100% of your worst days. So you already undefeated. Keep fighting, keep going forward. And there's no perfect time, man. You got a dream, chase it. Just go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Likewise, man. Keep holding it down, man. Handle your business, bro.
Yes, sir. Till next time. Peace.
All right.